Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Superhero Deep Dive. I am your host Jason, and I have a special guest with me.
Hi.
This is...
Hi. I am Jubilee.
This is my daughter Jubilee, and today we're actually going to be talking about the hero Jubilee. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is my Jubilee on Jubilee episode.
Yeah.
Now, before we start, I have to give a quick disclaimer that these sources are pulled from different areas across the internet. They may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. There's always going to be more. There's always going to be more stories out there. I try to keep this limited to about half an hour, at most. So I'm not going to cover the whole history, but I am going to cover with a very broad brushstroke over everything, as much as possible, and kind of give good insights on it. Okay? All right. So we are talking about Jubilee. Her real name is Jubilation Lee. She's a Chinese American. She's from Beverly Hills, and she is born from Chinese immigrants. So that's like the very basic information right there. It's kind of funny, when I was looking, I knew she was Chinese American. I knew she was from Beverly Hills. I thought she was adopted, and it could just be from where I remember it from the cartoon back in the day. But yeah, she's from Chinese American. So, there was an old TV show back in the 90s called Tattoo Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills, and just the way it reads, like Chinese American from Beverly Hills, it just reminds me of it. So I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
Don't say that.
It's okay. It's okay. So, I really didn't know what to think when I first saw that she was born to Chinese immigrants in Beverly Hills, because Beverly Hills, I can imagine, is not the easiest place to be immigrating to, I guess. But at the same time, I don't know, whatever. I always think of immigrants, and when you hear the word immigrants, you think of almost like refugees, when really they could have been millionaires in China and just came over here, and they still be called immigrants. But it just doesn't hit you in the same mindset, I guess. But that's her basic information. Her powers are, she's, as with any X-Men apparently, she's immune to telepathy. So you can't read her mind. And I think that's just from training. I don't necessarily think that's a power, but I think it's probably just from training, because every X-Men has that. And she also has lumokinetic explosive light blasting. So what is that commonly called, Jubilee?
Well, a lot of people usually call it fireworks, but
yes, we had to get technical here on the show. We want to be legit.
Yeah.
so yes, they're fireworks basically. Which, isn't that kind of funny? Like, I never actually put it together. But the Chinese invented fireworks, didn't they?
Yeah.
So,
I saw a video on it earlier, and they were talking about how they didn't want to call it fireworks because that could be...
Because it might be racist?
Yeah.
And since when has Marvel ever been racist? Come on. Let's not go into that. We don't need to deep dive into that part. But okay, so check this out. Like, her powers actually manifested as a result of her rollerblading through a mall, and mall security started coming after her. She started freaking out when she got caught by mall security, by rent-a-cops. Rent-a-cops freaked out this little Chinese girl. And she sparkled in their face. I don't know. I mean, that's what happened. After that, coincidentally, and I'm pretty sure it was from the same people that were trying to get her next time, but after that, her parents were killed mistakenly by hitmen. Like, what the hell?
For the longest time, she thought that they actually died in a car crash.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell? But So she ran away from that. Of course, she went to the mall, which she was probably banned for life because of the rent-a-cops. But and she turned into like a petty thief and a street performer. Now, when I say the street performer, like just we'll talk about it a little bit later. But she had a talent for gymnastics, so she was probably doing gymnastics out in like the courtyard or something. And all I keep thinking about is from that movie Shazam. And if you haven't seen it, shame on you. Because it's old enough now to where you can see it, and I'm not giving you spoilers. If you haven't seen it,
go watch it.
Go watch it. Yeah, it's worth a watch. It's not the best DC movie, but there's not really a best DC movie.
No. It was
I like Wonder Woman. I like the original Wonder Woman, but like there's a scene where he's like sitting in front of a building and he's playing music and he's going lightning from my hands. Lightning from my hands, and he's just sitting there singing along and shooting it. That's what I think Jubilee is doing. Just with fireworks. Just sitting there like, give me a quarter. Fireworks from my hands. Fireworks from my hands. That's all I can think about. So, if you need a visual, watch the Shazam movie. And then just put a little Chinese girl in place of Big Shazam.
Yeah.
But, so that's how she was kind of living and there's an old movie from like I guess the early 2000s or late 90s called The Terminal. It had Tom Hanks in it, and he was a foreigner stuck in a airport because while he was traveling, his country fell apart. So like while he was in the airport, he didn't have a country anymore. So he had to learn to like get the carts out that people would rent and return them and get the quarters for returning them, and then he'd use it to go buy a cheeseburger or something, and that's kind of how he's maintained some food and stuff. So that's what I'm just thinking, like her just doing that and coming out to the Burger King or McDonald's or whatever they had at the mall, and dropping down some quarters and crumpled up dollar bills and getting a Big Mac.
That sounds like the life. I'm jealous.
I don't want to say because she's Chinese and has firework ability that she went to the local Chinese buffet, because I think that would just be a little too on the nose.
A little bit too much.
A little bit too much. But so she got that. So after a while, the mall hired a group called the M Squad to bring Jubilee in. And I think those were the same people that killed her parents. I don't know. I didn't look too deeply into that part because I wanted to focus more on Jubilee.
Yeah, they're like wannabe Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Even though we have some great friends that are Ghostbusters, but anyways, they just so happened to be at the mall the same time that some of the X-Men were there shopping. So it all worked out because the X-Men rescued her, brought her back to the mansion, yada yada yada. She does all this stuff. She has adventures. Later on, thanks to Wanda, which everyone listening and everyone not listening should have already watched WandaVision. If you haven't, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you don't have Disney Plus, find a way. There are certain places using your internet connection that you can find a way.
Be careful of illegal websites, though. Those are...
No, I'm not promoting any illegal websites. I'm just saying there are ways. But anyways, she lost her powers on M-Day, which was where Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, said no more mutants, and like 97% of the world's mutants lost their powers. In an instant. So she didn't have any powers, no more fireworks for her. She started volunteering to help other depowered mutants because we have to remember that, even though she didn't have her powers anymore, she still had all this experience with training with the X-Men and all those other teams that she was a part of. So, she was still able to hold her own, and she's able to help people in crisis situations. So, I think that was awesome that they wrote her like that. At one point, she was practically crucified on the X-Men's front lawn.
Oh yeah.
She was originally supposed to have died, but they kind of retconned that and said that she was badly injured, and they managed to save her.
Yeah. Saved her from a crucifixion.
Saved her from crucifixion. So, you know, we're just going to let that be, because that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
They liked her too much to let her die.
She's an awesome character.
Yeah.
So later on, you know, she drops kind of out of the spotlight. She drops into obscurity. And then she goes and joins, a team called the New Warriors, but it wasn't the original New Warriors. A lot of them are heroes that mutants that may have lost their powers, or just random heroes that aren't well known, and they're given like special equipment. Like, she called herself Wandra, and she had these power gauntlets that gave her super strength. So, you know, she was like the strong person. So you wouldn't have thought that it would be Jubilee.
No, she could also fly, I believe.
Okay.
It also gave her flight power.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't look too much up on Wandra, because I wanted to focus on Jubilee, and she went back to Jubilee later.
Yeah.
But so she leaves after finding out the team wasn't formed for the noblest of reasons. It was a little self-centered, and she wasn't having any part of that. So there's that, and that's like part of her history.
Yeah.
Before I go into any more, because I still have a long way to go. This is like the never-ending story of little Chinese girls.
Crazy.
But it's okay. If you guys have any questions, comments, critiques, requests, I don't know, anything at all, feel free to reach out on Twitter at b4itall1, and you can also email me directly at b4itall@yahoo.com. This normally posts every Tuesday, so check me out every Tuesday. Subscribe, listen. If your podcast app has a like button, like it. If it has a comment button, leave a comment. I don't know which ones do or don't, but hopefully it'll let me know if you do. So yeah, with all that, we're part of the Talk Nerdy to Me network, and we have podcasts coming out like almost every day of the week, so it's awesome. I also have another podcast called Before It All Starts Again, and that comes out every Friday. And we have our friends Chris and Chris with the Friends with Benefits podcast, and they come out every Tuesday night live on Twitch, and then they broadcast it after that on wherever you listen to your favorite podcast on Wednesday. So check us all out. You know, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, let me get back into Jubilee. I just had to give that quick intermission and catch my breath. Even though I kept talking. Okay, so we've gone through Jubilee the mutant, then Jubilee the armored gadget hero. Now we're into Jubilee the vampire.
Oh, yes.
That's right. Biting necks and cashing checks. That's what she's doing. She gets bitten by a vampire and she becomes one. She does her vampire thing. She ends up walking in one day with an adopted son named Shogo, which was just like someone she found apparently, but you know,
she just found him.
Yeah, you know, just finding a baby. Now Shogo actually becomes an X-Men in the future. So that happens. I don't know his powers. I didn't deep dive into him because that was too much on Jubilee.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is the kicker. This is like kind of the turn from it. Okay, so when Jubilee was right after X-Men, she joined a team of younger mutants called Generation X. In Generation X, there was another mutant there, a lady named Monet. And Monet was kind of like this perfect woman type person. Like, she could do anything and everything. She was basically like Supergirl I mean, it was crazy just the stuff she could do.
Yeah, she was super overpowered.
Yeah. But it turns out Monet also had like a brother or sister. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was a brother because I think she had another sister with other powers, but a brother named M-Plate that kind of fed off of mutant powers or abilities or genetics or something. But M-Plate takes over Monet. Okay, so Monet goes in, and this is while Jubilee's a vampire, but this is just kind of an old friend. Monet goes up to Jubilee, possessed, snatches a magical medallion that Jubilee had that protected her from sunlight because she's a vampire and everything. And Jubilee was like teaching classes at this point, helping younger mutants learn how to do what they do.
And some random person comes in.
Yeah, comes in, takes her necklace, and then throws her outside to burn in the sun. You know?
The other students must have been, like, traumatized.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, it's basically equivalent of Superman coming in and, like, being like, bitch, be cool. And just throwing her out. Like, you're not going to mess with it. You're going to be kind of in a state of shock. So there was a mutant, and he's like an Omega level telepath named Quentin Quire. There's so many things in this story that, you know, I'm giving you the bare bones of it. And I understand if you have questions. And if you do, please reach out to me and we'll go over them. But yeah. So Quentin Quire had a shard of the Phoenix Force inside of him because at one point he controlled the Phoenix Force. Because if you're a telepath in the Marvel Universe, you're going to get phoenixed at one point or another. I mean, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Like, you know, you're going to hit puberty, your voice is going to change, you're going to get hair in weird places, you're going to feel all these strange tingles, and then you're going to turn into the phoenix. I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Some people are late bloomers, some people it happens early. It is what it is. But he ends up having a shard of the Phoenix Force inside of him because Phoenix Forces have shards. And he sacrifices that to save her life. So kudos to Quentin.
Good for him.
Yeah. Jubilee is now healed. So she's not going to burn. She's no longer a vampire. And her mutant powers are restored. Oh, and she's still a mom. She's still a mom. Yeah. So she didn't, that hasn't changed. She's still that. So she basically reverted back to normal, and she's still a mom. So that's kind of like the in and outs of Jubilee. That's just her basic info.
Yeah.
And trust me, I dumbed this down a lot. Like, I shaved a lot from this. So you have a mutant that had fireworks from her hands, playing around at the mall. Goes and becomes super strong girl after she loses her powers. Quits that team, becomes a vampire. Gets rid of that, becomes back to fireworks in her hands. So she came full circle, as all good stories do. Relationships. This one is fun. I have to get this one out of the way because this one's my favorite. And this was in the 90s. Marvel and DC did kind of like a not necessarily team up, but they were kind of going against each other. But they did it in a way to where they fought each other and then their universes merged to a separate, like, third universe where they both got to write books for it. And then they fell apart and went back to normal again. But she actually met Robin. And this wasn't Dick Grayson. It wasn't Jason Todd. This was Tim Drake. This one was actually Dick Grayson is my favorite Robin, but he's Nightwing now. And then he goes on, and he's evolved into other things. But he's best known as Nightwing. Jason Todd was my favorite Robin. He was the one with the bow staff and the black black cape with the yellow inside of it. He is the third Robin. The fourth one is Damian Wayne. So this one is Tim Drake. He's my favorite Robin. If you ever watch Teen Titans Go, or Teen Titans, the animated show, the look is, I believe that one is Dick Grayson, but the look is modeled after after Tim Drake. There's so many names.
You lost me at
Todd? The weird thing is that if you're a Robin character, you're gonna have two first names. Every name you have is gonna be a first name.
Why?
It's the rule.
Alright.
So, because I actually know a Grayson. Like, that's his first name.
Of course you do.
So,
you know.
Yeah. I don't think we're Facebook friends, though. But, but yeah, so there's a lot of first names in there. So, but it's Tim Drake. So, they end up, like, getting crushed on each other. And then nothing becomes of it because there are different universes, and they are not going to have that. She's also friends with the female Wolverine clone, X-23, which is commonly known as Wolverine's daughter. They're good friends. She had a relationship with a mutant named Sync, which his real name is Everett Thomas. He's actually really cool. He's got the power to copy the powers of mutants near him. So it's a really cool power. And you know, they were together. And then he's got this weird father-daughter kind of relationship with Wolverine. It's always been weird because Wolverine he's older than dirt, but he always liked him, and he liked Jean Grey when she was a teenager. He liked Kitty Pryde, you know, but it's never been explored in a more than a kind of a father figure kind of way.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
It is.
It's not even creepy. It's just weird, because it's only creepy if you try to make it creepy, but there's nothing written to make it creepy.
It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's just weird. So those are some of her relationships. I'm sure there are more, but yeah, I'm not doing all that because trust me, there's still so much more. Okay, fun facts. This is good. Fun facts. She has a talent for gymnastics and rollerblading because why not?
Oh yeah, she even qualified for the Olympics with her gymnastic abilities. Yeah, before her parents died.
Oh, awesome.
And then her parents died, and then she's like, "Screw that!
Screw that! I'm going to the mall. I'm going to Hot Topic.
She's gonna be a mall junkie.
Screw the Olympics! I want Hot Topic. I'm going to Claire's and get my ears pierced with a gun." All right. So, she's also been in multiple X-Men movies. Like, if you guys haven't seen this, look it up. It's a hidden gem. It's a 90s movie called Generation X. It was a straight-to-TV movie. I actually have it, and I watch it maybe 2 or 3 times a year. It's great. But she's been in Generation X, X-Men X2, X-Men The Last Stand, and X-Men Apocalypse. So she's got quite the movie career. Never really doing a lot, but always kind of like, you know, a side character. She's one of those characters that's fun to find in the movies because she doesn't really do a whole lot in them. You just know who she is when you see her.
You know, the most interesting thing she did in the movies was like cheat at an arcade game with her powers.
Which movie was this?
I don't remember.
That was.
Oh wait, no. More of one of the recent ones.
Okay. I know she blew up a video game console in Generation X, and she did it in the cartoon, I think.
Oh.
But
in that then.
Yeah, but she's been in X-Men the animated series. She had a guest star in Spider-Man the animated series. She's part of the New Mutants in X-Men Evolution. She had a guest spot in the Superhero Squad show. So she's got quite the animated career as well. She's also been in video games like Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes, the Wolverine video game, X-Men Legends, Marvel Heroes, Marvel Future Fight, Marvel Super War, and Marvel Puzzle Quest, because every single freaking hero is in Marvel Puzzle Quest. Whew. I'm surprised she's not in Marvel Contest of Champions, because every hero is also in that one. And maybe she is, maybe it just wasn't listed. I don't know, because I don't play that mobile game. It got too boring for me. And just a quick fun fact, her favorite Star Wars film is Empire Strikes Back.
That's cool. I
agree.
Didn't know.
I agree with her.
That's wow.
That one's my favorite too.
That's really interesting, actually.
Okay, now this is all the basic information. We are 26 minutes into this beast of just basic information.
Wow.
Yes. This is actually my favorite part. This is the part I really wanted you to be a part of. This is the power expansion. This is where I go on a tangent about how I would change her powers or any kind of stories I would do with her. And then I want to get your reactions and then see if anything comes up, because if you guys don't know, because you don't know my daughter, but she's super creative when she wants to be.
When I want to be. Yeah.
It's very hard for creative people to be creative on the spot. So I have to put this out there. She's super creative when she wants to be. I'm hoping that this triggers something, because I'd love to see where your mind goes with this.
You should do this with the characters' design, their outfit and stuff.
You can if you want, but I mean, I don't care so much about the look of the character. It's just what kind of stories, because different artists will change things and they will update the looks as they see fit. So that's kind of a secondary kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless their physical appearance, like the Incredible Hulk or something, is actually part of who they are.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but so she's been said to have the power of a nuclear bomb if she wanted. So what if she actually did something like that? What if she was captured, drugged, something like that. Something where she was taken hostage against her will, whether she was conscious or unconscious or whatever. And then she was used as a nuclear battery to power some large area of land, like a town or a state or maybe some kind of military complex, like a nuclear reactor. Mm-hmm. Just because they're feeding off of her powers. So, the X-Men find out, or she just starts coming to and, kind of getting herself back into a semi-state of consciousness. So either she's rescued or she escapes. But during that, she goes crazy. And her powers that have been already restored thanks to the Phoenix Force shard. So the Phoenix Force can amplify someone's powers anyway. So, So what if they go crazy and her powers went out of control? She threatened to nuke the planet. She has this kind of she can even do kind of a nuclear force field kind of thing, just with the energy coming off of her. So you can't really Cyclops can't shoot her with an optic blast or anything. She almost becomes untouchable because of just the nuclear energy inside of her. I think it could be epic. I think it really tug at the heartstrings of the fellow X-Men, because she grew up underneath some of them. Storm and Rogue, they've known her since she started. They helped her. She's fought alongside with them. She's taught a bunch of newer mutants how to control their powers and how to deal with things. She's done so much, and now they have to stop her. And I just keep thinking, in the Phoenix saga originally, Jean Grey had the Phoenix Force. She was going crazy, and Wolverine had to go up and stab her and kill her.
Oh.
And when he did that, it like almost destroyed him emotionally and mentally. What if he has to do that to Jubilee, to someone that he considers his daughter? What if he has to put her down?
Okay, wow.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nuts?
That would be
very
hard on him.
So what, like, you know, she's got this power, like these little fireworks. So she's controlling this plasma energy. So they figure out how to tap into her, to her power. And they did something like this back in the, I think, mid-90s. There's a graphic novel. It's a decent graphic novel if anyone finds it and wants to look at it. It's called Emperor Doom. And what it is Dr. Doom ends up finding the Purple Man, who has the ability to control people's like minds and emotions.
The Purple Man.
Yeah, from like Jessica Jones.
Very creative name.
He's purple. What else is he gonna be called?
Plum, obviously.
No.
Grape juice.
No. Grape juice.
Yeah, I mean
this isn't My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah.
But he does. He has this ability to control the minds and wills of people around him. And the only ones that are really immune to him are like robots, like the Vision, and people like with extremely strong wills, like Daredevil and stuff like that, like their common enemies. So what Dr. Doom did was he actually went up and withstood the Purple Man's influence, beat him down, and then put him in this like giant kind of gemstone looking thing, containment unit, to where the Purple Man's influence was amplified and spread out throughout the world. And
so he had his own mind control machine.
Yeah. So at that point in time, Dr. Doom became Emperor of the world. And he actually ushered in world peace. He did all this stuff, which was really cool. And he kind of turned into a good guy, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
So it was really messed up. But it was a decent comic at the time. It's definitely worth the read. I don't know if it's worth the buy, but it's worth the read. But what if they did something like that to Jubilee? Like, what if she was powering, like, you know, like this whole town, or like this, like, let's say a state. Let's say she's from Los Angeles. Let's say she was powering California. Like, her power was that much, she could actually power the whole state. So if they took her out, you know, all these people are going without power. Like, that's basically destroying their infrastructure.
Yeah. As
well. So there's so many things. So, like, it's not just the X-Men that want to put her down, like, that want to put her somewhere. But everyone is going against her at this point, because you can't have a whole state get knocked out. We saw it with Texas. It didn't work out. Doesn't work out. So, what do you think? Like, if you could build a story around all the stuff that she's gone through and stuff that she could, do you like mine? Would you expand on that? Would you give a different one?
Well, she would be like unstoppable, really. It just depends what people like use her for, I guess.
Well, what would you use it for? This is your time.
My time.
Yeah, it's not just what do you think people should do. What do you think? Like, if you were to write her story, where do you think you'd go? And this is just brainstorming. So everyone, this is her shooting. This is my daughter Jubilee shooting from the hip on the comic book character Jubilee. So I did not give her any prep work on this portion, which I wish I did.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll just go on a whim here. They could. What's that outer atmosphere of the Earth called that like protects it?
The atmosphere?
Not the atmosphere.
The stratosphere?
The top layer.
Oh.
The whatever that is.
Okay.
She could probably like put a big force field around the Earth.
A nuclear force field?
Yes. Murder everybody.
Yeah, I was like, Here's the
I
thing.
mean, if she wanted to.
Yeah.
And then they apparently all come back. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. You have nothing to apologize for. So what if she's so powered, like with this nuclear energy? What happens if Wolverine does actually, like, what if he goes up and, like, we go along with the story I wrote, and he does have to take her down? What happens if he stabs her? Does all that nuclear energy get sent out somewhere?
Yeah,
Or does it
thinking,
just dissipate and die? And I mean, like, what happens? Like, because I would be afraid at that point because she's immune to telepathy, so you can't just shut her mind off.
Yeah. She would explode, probably, something like that.
Like,
Or something would explode.
one thing's for sure, something's blowing up.
Yeah, something will most likely blow up, and Wolverine may have to, be resurrected.
Yeah, so I mean, so what do you guys think? Where do you think her powers would go from there? Or I mean, what other story would you tell? Because let's be honest, I mean, the girl's been crucified on the front lawn. Like,
Yeah.
there's really not a whole lot you can do past that, except make her someone like an unwilling bad guy that you have no choice but to do like the worst things imaginable to.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I mean, I don't want to say they painted her in a corner, but really, what else are you going to do that's going to stand up to her being, to like, Wolverine open the doors of the X-Mansion and seeing Jubilee crucified on the freaking front lawn?
Yeah.
I mean, where else are you going to go from there? She turned into a vampire.
A vampire,
Yeah. With a
baby.
With a random baby. I mean, so where do you guys think this should go? Do you like my idea? Marvel, if you listen to this, or if any writers listen to this, you are more than welcome to take that idea. I don't care. This is just fun. This is the most fun part for me, is doing the power expansions or storyline expansions.
Yeah, it's not copyrighted.
Don't say that, because then there's going to be another podcast next week of the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just going to download it and rebroadcast it as their own because you said it's not copyrighted.
I'm sorry. Don't do
This
that.
is copyrighted, but Marvel, you have permission to use the ideas. But yeah, let me know. Shoot me a line. You can catch me on Twitter at B4itall1, or you can email me directly at B4itall@yahoo.com. I look forward to hearing from you. We're gonna wrap this up. Be safe, be smart. Don't be stupid. If you are stupid, don't get caught. And be blessed, everyone. Take it easy, and we'll see you next week on Superhero Deep Dive.